I know folks are really worried about Donald Trump's failing health, not because they're worried about Donald Trump, but because they're worried about what will happen when JD Vance takes over. And I think we are seeing that the regime understands that Trump has the dwindles and that JD Vance needs to be positioned a little bit more prominently, stop going on endless vacations to Disney, going kayaking, whatever his family is, endless vacation. We've seen him more positioned kind of behind Trump in press conferences. He has greater proximity to Trump lately. And I know that a lot of people are worried about that because JD Vance is backed by, run by, he is the mouthpiece of Peter Thiel. And they think that that means JD Vance is going to somehow hold the cult of MAGA together and he's going to cement a dictatorship in the United States. And y'all, I have to scoff at that. I understand conceptually the fear, but come on, y'all. JD Vance. JD Couchfucker Vance. JD Shorty Pants Vance. You think he is going to hold together the cult of MAGA and deprive the American people of a democracy? Do y'all remember just a couple of days ago when he was walking through, what was it, Union Station in Washington, D.C.?
Right there. Oh, look. It's Couchfucker. You gonna fuck a couch, buddy? Right here. Do not go past this. JD Vance, go fuck the couch. Get the fuck out of my city!
God bless y'all in Washington, D.C. Your resistance against fascism is fucking fantastic. Every video I see of residents of D.C. pushing back against the regime, rather against political leaders or against law enforcement, or just combating the false narrative, the absolute lies of the regime. DC is not backing down. DC is absolutely not going to let the fascists win. If y'all want to draw courage from anything that is happening in this country right now, draw your courage from the people of Washington, DC. Okay, but let's get back to JD Vance. So I know a lot of people are really freaked out about him because he's younger, right? Trump is on the way out. We understand he's fizzling, right? People think that because Peter Thiel has backed JD Vance, because he got elected to the Senate in Ohio, what the fuck were y'all doing, Ohio? Ohio, where I went to high school, has become an absolute MAGA hellscape. It was a purple state when I lived there. What are you doing, Ohio? Get your shit together. Watching Ohio wheat and corn growers back Vivek Ramaswamy for governor? And what are you doing, y'all? Okay, I could dunk on Ohio all day long. I know there's lots of good people in Ohio that are resisting. Mad props to y'all. Any blue dot in a red state, thank you so much for your continued resistance against fascism. But JD Vance in particular, right? So Peter Thiel plucked him out and said, you're my guy. I am a real weirdo and I'm not going to be able to put myself out there. I'm not going to be able to do an Elon Musk. Not that Elon Musk is not also a real weirdo, and tanked his own popularity just by speaking on camera and people getting to see more and more of who he is. But Peter Thiel instead picked a mouthpiece that he thought would be acceptable, presentable, would be embraced by the right. I just want to remind y'all, for all of his bloated government contracts that has enabled him to become extremely wealthy, Peter Thiel is the worst kind of pseudo-intellectual. And the fact that he picked JD Vance and was like, this guy is going to run my takeover of the country, that in and of itself should be pretty significant evidence to y'all that JD Vance is not capable of holding a dictatorship together. I could go off on Peter Thiel some more, and I probably should. There's only 1 degree of separation between me and Peter Thiel. That's maybe a story for another day. The fact that he picked JD Vance, to me, says that JD Vance is not going to last. JD Vance is not capable. And Heather Cox Richardson mentioned this. Two interesting points, actually, that she mentioned in a video recently. She and I are in agreement on this position, and I think we have been since the beginning. There's a whole lot of us that have said, y'all, JD Vance is not as scary as you would like to make him out to be. And even if you find him scary, ridicule, mockery, that is a highly effective strategy against fragile fascists. And JD Vance's ego is real fragile, y'all. Not only does it undercut them, but it helps you reframe them in a way where you are no longer fearing them quite as much. It really helps you get some of your own power and perspective back when you take a powerful political figure who really is an entirely inept boob, and you choose to reframe how you view them. You appropriately, in your brain, frame them as somebody worthy of derision, mockery, ridicule. It really does wonders when it comes to squashing your fear of that person. They become far less intimidating. Nobody should be intimidated by JD Vance, y'all. But anyway, Heather Cox Richardson made two interesting points. I've long agreed with Knitting Cult Lady that a cult of personality, which is what Donald Trump has, cannot be passed down to JD Vance. He cannot hold that cult together. But Heather said something that I think takes it one step further. She said MAGA is an entirely racist cult. JD Vance is married to a brown woman with brown children, and that already has drawn disapproval from the far right white nationalists. MAGA, they don't want a brown woman to be the first lady. Also, that JD Vance is a Catholic, and there's a lot of hard right folks who are very anti-Catholic. And then Heather said something else that I've also been saying, and I think needs to be stressed more, which is that Donald Trump has done a really good job of having a stranglehold on Republicans in Congress, right? We tried for several months to push Republicans to understand the reality that they should be more afraid of their constituents than they are of Donald Trump. But they've all been pussy little bitches with no spine, and they have caved to Donald Trump's threats and intimidation. He said he's going to primary them. He's going to ruin their political career. He's going to take away their jobs. So they've all fucking buckled. Even the ones who know it's wrong, even the ones who are maybe not super on board with the fascist agenda of Trump, they are going along with it. They are betraying their oath to the Constitution. They are betraying their constituents to protect their own careers and their own safety. I'm so tired of hearing from Democrats, our colleagues across the aisle, you guys, they're really scared. We need them to have a spine and stand up. No, they're spineless, gutless cowards. You think the American people aren't scared? You think regular, everyday Americans are not taking significant risks with their safety, their finances, their jobs, their futures in order to stand up against fascism? I don't want to hear about protected elected officials who are scared to stand up, who they're just like really scared to do the right thing. Fuck off. Yeah, all of those Republicans have sold out this country because they're scared of Donald Trump. They are not going to be scared the same way of JD Vance. I completely agree with Heather in this assessment. Nobody in the Senate is afraid of JD Vance. Nobody in the Senate is going to want to listen to him or bow to him the way that they do to Donald Trump. Nobody in the House is going to want to be controlled by JD Shorty Pants Vance the same way that they let Donald Trump control. Donald Trump had, 5 decades of experience bullying, threatening, mob-style intimidation, shakedowns, coercions, threats. Donald Trump, for all the ways that he is not particularly an intelligent man, he's a very, very good bully. JD Vance is not the same guy, y'all. So not only can he not hold the cult of MAGA together, not only is he not going to be able to control Congress in the same way, not only are the racist Republicans who are willing to get behind Donald Trump not going to be willing to get behind him, but the American people are resisting more and more. Maybe in ways they were intimidated or not willing to stand up against Donald Trump, or maybe initially kind of liked some of the things that Trump said. None of that from the mouth of JD Vance is going to promote anything, is going to create anything beyond absolute ridicule and mockery of JD Vance himself. Please don't be scared of JD. Please don't be scared. In this moment in time, we should be scared of the fact that the regime is trying to very quickly cement control in a way that when Donald Trump passes, they think they will be able to hold on to power no matter what, right? That's what the gerrymandering is about. That's what trying to access our private voter information. That's what trying to redo the census is about. They're desperate. They're desperate because they know that Donald Trump's days are numbered, and they know that JD Vance is going to be a very, very weak leader. Donald Trump, already a weak leader. Fascist regimes already always are weak. The strength of Trump's cult of personality is what has allowed him to push forward, has allowed him to seize control. As he diminishes, as he dwindles more and more, there's nothing left that's going to hold this cult together. And I think JD Vance is somebody who's going to galvanize the opposition far more than it already is. Nobody is going to want to bend the knee to JD Vance. Please stop acting like he's a future king in the United States. Frame him appropriately as a sad little power-hungry couch fucker who's going nowhere. I look forward to the day when JD Vance tries to take over, because it will be. If the regime has not already fallen before then, there will be no way for JD to hold it together.